Hi, this is Trisha from Lemon Paper Lab. In this video, we are going to look at one of my pattern starter template. This template is template K. It is designed in a 1:1 ratio, 7200 pixels by 7200 pixels. This template will be available to download in my Patreon page. I also have this template and more in my Ultimate Pattern Maker Toolkit for Photoshop, which includes all of my Photoshop templates and actions to help improve your workflow when designing in Photoshop. And I will leave a link in the description below to both my Patreon page and this toolkit. Currently, I have the template open here in Photoshop. In the layers panel, what I want you to notice is we have a group of colors. These are smart objects that can be edited. And then we also have a group of 9 different shapes representing the 9 different shapes you see here that are also editable. And then here at the bottom is just the template for the various repeats of this pattern. So to start off with, I am just going to save this as a pattern here. Here in my patterns panel, if you don't see your patterns panel, go to window selecting patterns here. I'm just going to hit this plus icon, and then I'm just going to save the pattern there. And then let's go ahead and change out the color of this pattern just to see how you can do it. So you're going to double click on the smart object here, and then I'm just going to pick from this palette here, and then I'm going to go ahead and save it. Command or Control S to save it. And then we'll close that out, Command or Control W to close it. And then let's go ahead and change the next color here. We'll try this orange, Command or Control S to save it, Command or Control W to close it. And then we'll select this green, Command or Control S to save it, Command or Control W to close it. And then we'll do one more color here, selecting the yellow, Command or Control S to save it, and then Command or Control W to close it. So that's one feature of this template, is that you can easily change the color. So let's go ahead and save this pattern here as well. The next feature is the shape layers that you can edit and change. So let's go ahead and double click into this first smart object. So for the example layers in here, I just drew some very organic looking shapes. For this example, I'm going to try something a little bit more geometric. So let's go ahead and get a guide view, new guide layout. Let's try 10 columns, 10 rows, just to give us a reference point here. And then just my marquee tool, I'm going to draw out this dimension. We're looking at a width of 960. So I'm going to just deselect those, Command or Control D. And then I'm going to draw a square with those dimensions, 960 by 960, clicking on OK. And then let's go ahead and center this here. And then let's give our corners a little bit of a round here. And then I'm going to duplicate this layer, Command or Control J, and I'm going to duplicate it. I want 4 total, so I'm going to duplicate it again. And then with this original, I'm just going to duplicate it, and then I'm just going to turn this off in case I want to use it again. So we have 4 here on this third layer. I'm going to change the scale, Command or Control T, and I want this one to be 75%. So we'll make sure this is selected. We're going to go 75% here. With this one, Command or Control T, I'm going to go 50%. And then the smallest one, Command or Control T, I'm going to go 25%. And then so we can see, I'm just going to add some color here for our objects just to see how it looks. And so with these first 2 layers, I'm going to cut out this first part. So we're going to go to Layer, Combine Shapes. I'm going to subtract the front shape. And so here in the layers panel, we can see it. We'll do that again to these 2 layers. Layer, Combine Shape, subtract front shape. And then we have this fun little shape here. So I'm going to go ahead and save this, Command or Control S to save it. And then we'll go into our example here. And then we can already see that that has been updated. So I'm going to jump into our shape 2. We'll go ahead and turn off the visibility here. And then I still have shape 1 open, and so I am going to just copy all 3 of these things over here, right click, duplicate layer. I'm going to bring it into shape 2, and then we'll just fix that there, and then we'll go over to shape 2, and I'm just going to create some variations based on these objects. So let's just keep this one visible here, and then let's go ahead and save it. Command and Control S to save it. And then let's jump into our template to see how it looks. Okay, so let's just go ahead and close shape 2. And then let's go ahead and open shape 3. Double click on that layer. I'm going to go ahead and create a new layer. And then I'm just going to duplicate these same objects, duplicate layers to shape 3. So this one, let's turn this one off, and then let's just have this outer shape. We'll see how that looks. Command and Control S to save it. And then we'll go ahead and close it. Command and Control W to close it. And then we'll see our example here. And so these colors are a little bit intense. So I'm just going to change this one. Let's try white so it's a little bit less bold on our eyes there. So that has a little bit better contrast there. So then let's go to our next shape, shape 4. Okay, we'll turn off the visibility of that layer, add our new layer, and then let's move over those objects. Right click, duplicate layers to shape 4. And then I'm just going to take a marquee tool and just get a quick measurement of what this is. We're looking at about 121 pixels. I'll deselect that there. And then I'm going to turn off the visibility here. And then let's just create a line. So let's grab our pen tool. Let's bring up those guides again. View, guide, new guide layout. Clicking on OK. And then I'm just going to use these as references. So we'll go there. Let's add our fill is going to be no fill. Stroke is going to be black. And then let's go ahead and 120. And then whenever you're using the pen tool, you'll just want to hit enter just to kind of close off your shape. So I'm going to go with the V just so I can move it. And then let's duplicate this. I'm just going to hit the Option click or Alt click for PC, and then just drag it. And then just selecting these 2 layers, I'm just going to center it there. And then we have a kind of a different shape here. Command and Control S to save it. We'll jump into our template, see how it looks. And for those, I might just bring those in a little bit closer together, just so we have a better spacing. Select these 2 layers here and then just align it. We'll save it, and then let's actually try rounding it. So on the caps, I'm just going to create a roundness to it. And then I want to make it smaller, so I'm just going to grab my direct selection tool and then just bring my direct selection tool, bring it down here, make it smaller. So let's go ahead and delete that one. We'll just duplicate this one, Command Control J, get our move tool, select those 2 layers, and then I'll just center it here. And then let's go ahead and save that, Command and Control S to save it. And we can see it in our template here. So let's go ahead and open up our shape 5. And then I'm going to actually duplicate these 2 layers. Right click, duplicate layer. We'll go shape 5. We'll go ahead and save this one. Command and Control S to save it. See how that looks. And then just to clean up my tabs here, I'm just going to close shape 1. We'll make sure it's saved. Okay, and then let's continue on to shape 6. Let's play with these items again. Duplicate layer into shape 6. And then let's maybe bring out our big rectangle, duplicate layer into shape 6. We'll turn off the visibility of that for now. Let's try duplicating, Command and Control J. And then we'll just make sure those are evenly spaced. maybe we create another one, option click, holding it down, evenly space them out here. And then we'll just align it to our canvas. I'll go ahead and save that, Command or Control S. We'll exit out, Command or Control W. So in this case, let's go ahead and go with our shape 5. Just gonna rotate these ones, Command or Control T. Let's go 90 degrees. We'll save that, Command or Control S to save it. And then we've got 3 more shapes to work with. So we'll double click into shape 7, turn off that, and then let's get our reference layers here, duplicate layer, shape 7, so I can turn on this one, and then just working with this one here, I'm going to just command click on this area, and then I'm going to go select inverse, because what I really want is this inside layer. So we have these layers. I'm just going to create a new layer, and I'm going to fill it with my foreground color. I want it to be black, so I'm going to hit D. I'm going to go Option Delete for Mac, Alt Backspace for PC. We'll deselect that, Command or Control D to select it. And then I'm just going to use my magic wand tool, select this outside one, and just delete it, Command or Control D. And then now we just have our inside shape here. So I'm going to bring up this one again. We're going to go V, we're going to move this guy here. Make sure we are centered here. So we've got this section here, and I want to position this one in the center between those. So I'm going to grab just a guideline here. I'm going to just draw a quick rectangle here. Creating a new layer, I'm going to fill it with my foreground color. Option Delete for Mac, Alt Backspace for PC. We'll deselect those pixels, Command or Control D. I'm going to actually select these 2 layers, and I'm going to go right click, Convert to Smart Object, and then I'll show you what I'm doing here, and then we are just going to center this object in here. So we'll do our Move tool, we'll just center it here, and then I'm just going to go ahead and save it. Before we do that, I'm going to turn this layer on, and there are a number of ways you can do this. This is just one of those ways that I might go about this if I want it to be positioned in a particular area. So I'm going to go back into this shape here. Let's go ahead and just duplicate this, option click. We'll align it to the bottom. We'll duplicate this, Command or Control J. Then I'm going to rotate Command or Control T here. We'll go 90 degrees. We'll accept those changes, aligning it to the left and the top. We'll duplicate that, Command or Control J, aligning it to the side, and then we'll just click back on that one. We can turn off that layer, Command or Control S to save it, and then now it's perfectly aligned to where we wanted it. And then I just wanted to demonstrate that for you, because that is one way that I deal with making sure something is exactly where I want it to. Sometimes I'll just do that, create the space and convert it to a smart object, and then position it that way. So let's go ahead and save this. Command and Control S to save it. Command and Control W to close it. We'll go to our template. We can see our object there. We'll go into shape 8, double click here. We'll copy over these items, right click, duplicate layers into shape 8, and then I'm actually going to open shape 7 because I want this shape here, so we'll duplicate this layer into our shape 8. We'll center this guy here, and then I'm just going to draw a rough rectangle here. Create a new layer. I'm going to option delete. I am going to duplicate this one. We'll bring it to the top here. And then I'm going to make sure this guy is centered. So we'll center him here. So I'm going to use this to cut out a part for this object. So before I do it, I'm just going to right click. We're going to rasterize this layer. On this rectangle, I'm going to go Command click, and that's just going to select the pixels. Clicking on this layer, I want to make sure my marquee tool is selected. We're going to right click and we're going to go layer by cut. And then we'll turn off those layers just to see what we did. And then I want to do it again. So I'm going to take this layer, but I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees. So we're going to go Command or Control T. And then I'm going to go 90 degrees here. And then I'm going to do the same thing, Command or Control click to make that selection. And then we'll click on this layer. I'm going to right click, layer by cut. And then we can turn off those ones to see our shape here. So let's go ahead and save that, Command or Control S to save it. We'll close it out, Command or Control W to close it. Let's go ahead and close this one here just for the moment. And then we just have one more smart object to play with. So I'm gonna go ahead and open shape 9. And then I also want this circle here. So we'll open up shape 8 again, just so I can duplicate it. So I'm gonna right click, duplicate layer to shape 9. We'll turn off this layer here. I'm going to go V for the move tool, and then I'm just going to option click and drag, option click and drag, and then option click and drag, making sure it's aligned there. So we'll just select those. So as I'm moving it around, I'm trying to get those guides to give me like an exact of where it is. So if it doesn't give me, I'll usually bring up View, Guide, New Guide Layout, clicking on OK, and then just make sure it's aligned with the help of the guide. So we'll go ahead and save that, Command or Control S to save it. We'll close it, Command or Control W. We can close shape 8, we can close shape 4. And we have our different shapes. So this one was a little bit more geometric. We based it off of this kind of shape, and we morphed the different objects here just to create a little bit of a variation for this pattern. And so now I can go ahead and save this pattern. So we'll hit the plus icon, go ahead and save it. So I'm going to go ahead and open a new document. So we'll go File, New, just to test our pattern. We'll do 7200 pixels by 7200 pixels, clicking on OK. And then I'm just going to bring up a pattern adjustment layer. We'll just select our pattern here, and then you can always double click, scale it down so we can see our pattern in a smaller scale. So this is a fun template to work with that you can easily change out the colors and change out the shapes. So to create a unique pattern. So I hope you enjoy using this template. This is Trisha from Lemon Paper Lab. See you next time.